Welcome to She Wears Boldly. I am your host, Dr. Deborah. Today, we're going to be diving into the stories of extraordinary women who are rewriting the rules, shattering expectations, and refusing to fade into the background. Empowered women say no to being defined by their challenges in a world that tries to silence and sideline them. She Wears Boldly celebrates the remarkable journeys of women who have transformed their struggles into stepping stones to success. So grab your coffee or tea, settle in, and get ready to be inspired and fired up. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Deborah, and this is She Wears Boldly. And today our guest is going to be Leigh Lincoln. And I just can't wait to hear what she's going to tell us. So let's just throw it right over to her right away. Go for it.
Thanks for having me. This is an honor to be on this show because this is kind of up my wheelhouse because I accidentally wrote my first novel because I was told that my voice didn't matter. So when you said your podcast was all about roaring boldly, I was like, oh yeah, I get this. This is a concept I understand.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because the book that I just put on Kindle this morning, that's why I've been kind of busy, is exactly about that, about how we as women particularly have been told that our voices don't matter. And they do.
Yeah.
Your voice definitely matters.
Exactly. And this is what I'm trying now to get more and more people to understand, that it doesn't matter who you are. So many women get told they're just a fill in the blank with whatever. And then they get put in this small little box, and then they end up in a corner and just thinking that they're not important. Nothing that they do is going to matter, when it's exact opposite of what really is reality. And in my case, I was a stay-at-home single mother who homeschooled. And I'd done a ton of volunteer work, but a lot of people thought that none of those things I did mattered, which in fact, all of that stuff mattered. You ever tried to be a homeschooling single mother? That's like impossible. Like, a lot of people have said, when they've really sat down and thought about it, they're like, wait, how did you do that? I'm like, yeah, it mattered. And all of the volunteer work I did mattered. And so don't discount anything that you've done. It none of what you've done doesn't matter. But we get told all of these things all of the time that we're just not important enough. And that's not even close to the truth.
Yeah, wow, you're speaking to the choir here to me. Yeah,
I know.
I
And this is
totally,
just,
completely agree. But I thought that forever too. I really did. And I think that's why I'm passionate about the subject. And it's what I speak on now. So you're just perfect. I should bring you along. Um, yeah, I mean, because I wanted to be a teacher. I am a teacher. And I got, I tried all the way up to my doctorate degree to be a teacher and have an okie dokie certificate. And something happened with the schools all the way up. And I never got that certificate. And then I woke up one day and thought, wait a minute, I've always been teaching, because you can't stop a teacher from teaching. You can't stop us from using our gift. We may, as women, have to do it in a different way, but yeah, than a man, but that's okay. You were important. What you were doing was important.
it,
Absolutely.
it changed the whole course of my life, because I never thought I could write a book. And even after I accidentally wrote that first one, it still took me a long time before I really thought I could write another one. I was like, well, this was a one and done, accidental, one off kind of thing. I'm not an author. I don't have any training in this. I don't have a degree in fine arts or, well, anything really. So, you know, I'd been pushed down for so long, it took me a long time to really accept, hey, I can do this. And now I've got six. I'm about to publish my seventh. So, it was a big kind of a turnaround. Really, I had to really rethink my whole entire life after this whole shift, right? So it's not like we're gonna wake up one day and say, oh wow, what, I can change my whole entire life. I can speak up for myself. No, this we have to rethink everything. We have to shift our mindset completely. And in doing so, I think we have to even shift the paradigm of the world. And I'm loving that more and more women now are saying that I've had enough, because if enough of us do that, we will shift the world paradigm.
That's what She Wears Boldly is about. Yeah.
Exactly. And this is why I'm loving this podcast, because I'm like, yes, no, we need to get more women who really will stand up for themselves.
Yeah, and start roaring. And like I was talking to someone yesterday on a podcast, roaring doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be screaming. It can be a soft roar that has power. So she really opened me up to that idea. I love that. We can roar in so many ways. And it's time. It's time that we voiced all the wonderful ideas we have, all the great inspiration that we have. I know while you're raising your kids, I mean, so many situations you go through and so much you learn that can be shared with other people.
Yeah, and we are so hesitant to share all of our knowledge. And women have a collective body of knowledge that's incredible. If we would pull that all together and start collaborating rather than competing against each other, there, there would be no stopping us, because we have so much knowledge to give and to share. It's just incredible what women know. And a lot of it is self-taught, and that's the beauty of it. A lot of it is self-taught. Like, like me being an author, I no one taught me how to write a novel. No one taught me how to market that novel. No one taught me how to pull in readers. No one taught me how to conversation with anyone. I learned it all myself, right? So what, instead of me doing all this myself, what if someone had walked alongside me and collaborated with me, right? Because there's other people out there that knew what to do, right? I figured it out on my own, right? So no, we need to be sharing this knowledge that we have and really collaborating and working together and getting this out there. And I think that's part of also using our voice for good, and
Oh,
not just say, hey, I can do this, but hey, I can do this and I'm going to bring you along with me.
I love that. I really love that. Say that again, because that is powerful.
Hey, I can do this, and hey, I'm going to bring you along with me, because we can
Yeah,
do
and
this together.
I like you brought up the thing that as women, sometimes we compete against each other, which is crazy. We should support each other. If we compete against anybody, it's the other guys. Because I mean, look at our Fortune 500 companies. I did the research. There's like 78 CEOs that are women. And I started looking at that when Meg Whitman was one of the few, 27 at that time, back in the 90s. And yet there's hundreds of men as CEOs. So that's where we need to compete, not against each other. We need to get out there and use, I mean, if you can run a household with a bunch of kids and get them everywhere, you can be a CEO.
Yeah, you can rule the world if you can run a household.
Yes. Because as women, we put on so many hats. But I also think, and tell me how you feel about this, but I also feel that we have to start being more choosy on our activities and all the hats we wear.
And that's one thing I talk about a lot too, because women tend to just go nuts and think that they have to do every role that's expected of them. And then they put themselves last, and then they're exhausted and they can't figure out why. And it's because they're trying to do too many things and they don't know how to say no. Absolutely, they don't know how to say no. And it's like, hello, you aren't designed to do everything. Your kids can do the laundry, your kids can do the dishes, you know, your husband can vacuum every once in a great while, right? If you have a husband, that's great. I didn't, but you don't have to do everything. And again, this goes back into learning how to share. Everything, it's not your responsibility. Because we're burning the candle not at both ends, but at 50 ends and thinking that's okay. And it's not okay. I talk to so many women when I'm out speaking at events, and they're just like, this sounds great. I don't have time to do anything. And they're like, I can't stand up for myself. There's just one more thing I have to do. And I'm like, because you're trying to do too much and you're not like putting yourself first. And if we don't put ourselves first, it's not being selfish when we do that, but we're actually better humans if we put ourselves first, because then we have time to figure out what really should be our priority and what really can follow on the wayside. Because then we know who we are and what we like, what we don't like, what we're good at, what we're not good at. Because when we're not good at something and we try to do it anyways, what do? We really mess it up horribly. And it just takes 200% more time, right?
Oh, exactly. The word no, it's okay. And another thing, as women, we think we have to do things that we really don't have to do. It's okay if your living room's messy today. It's okay if the dishes didn't get done. It's okay. But what I think is really the problem is that we all human beings have been given a gift. That's what I use my superpower about. When I say superpower, I'm saying your gift, the thing you do well. Yours is obviously being an author. Who knew, right? And empowering people that way. But we all have that gift. And when we're too busy to use that gift, it doesn't just hurt us. There's other people we could be helping and doing things for and training and businesses we could make and run and so many things that are not getting done. And the world's less for that. I
Right.
think it's,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's okay if you didn't get those dishes done. Life's not going to end.
Yeah, like a friend of mine, a friend of mine puts it this way: is anyone gonna die? If the answer is no, then it's not necessary to be done right this second.
I love that. That is perfect. Oh, yeah, I totally love that because I don't know, we put the pressure on ourselves. It's not even, I think other people put the pressure on us. We put it on ourselves. I guess we were raised that way. I don't know. But yeah, it's time. It's really time. And I'm glad you're out there with the same message I'm out there with. And just saying it's our time now. I just, I really feel that so strongly. Because the world needs strong women because the way things are going, it's not going well. And we need to step up and step into who we are because we can
Right.
just make changes.
Yeah, and a lot of women are afraid that if they're strong, they'll come off as pushy, because a lot of people get told that, oh, you're being pushy, or you're being rude, or you're trying to be a man. But that isn't it at all. There's a difference between being strong and being pushy. And I think a lot of it is just people don't want women in certain roles, for a lack of a better way of putting it. And but we need to find our strength, and there's a way to do it without like being offensive. And we need to figure out that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I said, just finished that book and it really, hit me myself. You know how you teach yourself in your writing, right? You go, wait a
Right.
minute, I need to be doing that more, you know, kind of interesting. But, I think you're right about them not thinking, they should be in that position or do that thing. But we don't say this kind of stuff about men. So somewhere way back, it got to be acceptable. And, we even went through the 70s and the women's lib movement. It didn't really change anything with the majority of women. Yeah, there were a few women standing up and saying that, but most women just kept going and still going, doing everything, making sure everything gets done. Um, and some things don't need to get done, or someone else can do those things, and that's okay. Um, Probably making some people mad now when I'm saying this, but it's really true because, it's why are women's gifts, which are so like intuition, like empowering other people. We have some really heartfelt gifts. Why are our gifts less than a man's? And why can't there be a partnership in both areas? Because I asked my husband one night, he doesn't mind I share this. He's usually want to have my speeches. I asked him, I said, what are you doing today? He says, I go to work. I like my job. I come home, watch TV. Oh, I got to cut the lawn every now and then. I hate that. That was it. Ask any woman what they do in a day. That's usually a man's response. They have their job, their work, and maybe their hobbies. Women have this list, and we're doing it to ourselves
Yeah. Because we're willing to accept all the roles. And we think we should accept all the roles.
because no one else will do it, so we have to. But there are so many things that doesn't have to be done. You just said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just think all these things have to be done. But guess what? What always happens when somebody stops doing something, somebody else picks it up.
9 times out of 10, that is correct.
Yeah. And sometimes it just doesn't get done, and oh well.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing. It really isn't. And it took me a long time to get to this point. Didn't happen overnight. I sure didn't happen for you overnight either. But yeah, it's a struggle, but it's a message that has to get out there. So I'm definitely going to be checking out your books.
Yeah. So yes, like I say, I have 6 novels now, and I write about the subjects pretty much no one wants to talk about. Well, they're not about what we're having a conversation about, but I've been having fun writing them, and I really have enjoyed stepping into this role as an author. And again, it wasn't something I ever thought I would do.
Very cool. Um, so I got a question. If you could talk to your 20-year-old self on a couch right now, what would you tell her? What kind of wisdom?
I would I would
Question.
I would definitely tell my 20-year-old self to not waste as much time trying to do what everyone told her to do. Because I did so many things that everyone said, oh, you have to do this for so many years. And none of that stuff served me because it wasn't what I should have been doing. I should have
Wow,
figured this out a whole lot sooner, that I should just follow my own thing and just ignore everyone else.
I love that. That is really great. And another question here is, what does she roars boldly mean to you personally?
It means that every day I need to use my voice for good. And whether that means that I'm speaking to women about how they need to find themselves by journaling or just really exploring who they are by stepping away from whatever's causing them stress. That's what it means to me, is using my voice for good.
I love that. And what piece of advice would you give? One piece, got narrowed this down. One piece of advice would you give to a woman who's feeling invisible right now and kind of just stuck?
I would say to really dive deep into journaling. Um, Doing the deep journaling where you just close your eyes, just blank sheet of paper, just free write, and just really go deep.
I like that. Yeah. So you're really big on the journaling.
I am, because that's how I accidentally wrote a book. So that's how I found myself. So, like, if it worked for me, I know it would work for others, and I've seen it over the years work for others. So,
I was kind of the same way. I was always going to write the great American novel. Never could, but I found out I write workbooks really quick and easy, and they're fun. And with a lot of lines where you fill the stuff out. It's not quite journaling, but it's thinking process where you really ask yourself questions. So yeah, it, I think people are, I know I would rather pick up a workbook or a journal and work with it than read a really long book. You can really find stuff inside of yourselves, right?
yeah, and I really enjoy leading women on in workshops on journaling. It's amazing what comes out even in just a very short period of time.
I bet. I really bet. So you're going to give me all the links to your books and stuff so that anybody who's listening to this can click on it. I'll put in the call notes and we want them to be able to get access. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Um, and in the show notes also, I'll put a link to a free short story if anyone would like to access that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So again, um, we are really privileged here to have Leah, and she's telling us that we need to really get in touch with who we are, right? Am I saying that right? Yeah,
That, yeah, because I think ultimately, in order to be able to use your voice, you first have to figure out what your voice is and figure out who you are.
exactly. And it's okay. We're giving you permission. Both of us are giving you permission today to say no to things that don't have to be done. And both of us, I think I can talk for both of us on this, are giving you permission to find yourself, your talents, and your dreams and live them. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, this has been She Wears Boldly. I'm Dr. Deborah, and what can I say? Every day we need to live our strongest self and to roar. Whether it's a quiet roar or a big roar, we need to be out there roaring, doing what we were born to do. Remember, every one of you has a superpower. Don't wait until you're older. If you're younger now, find it now. If you're older, it's never too late. There's no age that you can be at that you don't have time to find that superpower. And I hope some young people are listening, young women, and find it real quick because the world's waiting for us to take our roar out there. And when I say women on the stage, I'm not just saying on a speaking stage, I'm saying whether you're in a boardroom, a conversation, or speaking on a stage, wherever you are, that's your stage. And you need to be roaring all the time. So thank you, Leah, again for joining us and your wonderful wisdom. And don't forget to send me those links, okay? This is She Wears Boldly, Dr. Deborah. See you next week.